Hey, it's Ubu, and today we're playing a demo for a game called Backrooms Exploration. You can find the game on Steam. It's developed by HN Studios, and it's set to release in early access April 4th. Basically, the description of the game reads that we're two friends who lost our jobs during COVID-19, and we decided to go on a heist. But during the heist, one of us ended up falling into the backrooms, so now we have to survive. It looked really interesting to me. I have another Backrooms game planned for this week, but I just so happened to run across this and decided to try it out. So I've been really craving some Backrooms action, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into this here in a minute. And if you're not familiar with my channel, at the end of the video, I will review the game and share my general thoughts on it. So that's what I like to do here. If you like the sound of that, stick around. I'd appreciate it. So anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and hit new game and see what's up. There's something behind every corner, but not... Oh, okay. Whoa. What in the world?
Hello?
Jesus. I need to use WAS to move. And shift to run. F for flashlight. Q and E to lean. Right mouse button to zoom. Okay. Boy, this head bob sure is something. Interesting. Like I always do in games like this, I just kind of pick a direction and go with it, so we'll see what happens. Alright. Whoa, wait. Okay, I was leaning there for a second. Made the perspective really weird. Alrighty. I guess we'll just keep looking around. I actually don't know if there are monsters in this game. Also need to look if there's a head bob option, because the sprinting is pretty rough to look at. I'm not prone to motion sickness, but I'm sure other people are. Obviously. That's weird. There's showers. Randomly here. My god. Obviously, in the backrooms, the arrows probably don't mean anything, so we'll see. It says we need to go this way. Yeah, let's turn the head bob off. I mean, that makes it pretty weird, but it's much better than the head bob. Okay, we got arrows pointing that way. And this way. That's a statue of a horse.
What is this now?
A statue of a horse. Duh. Okay. I just woke up, so my voice is kind of lower than usual. Just if you're wondering. Trying to sort of slow down my speech. I feel like lately in my videos I've been very just too quick and over the top, so I'm trying to speak more naturally. If that makes sense. You cannot sprint, so there is a limit to your sprint. We're sort of just hugging one side of the level, it seems. But yeah, we've hit a dead end here. I like the sound of wind as we're sprinting. Whoa, dude. I didn't like that at all. The thing was creeping around the corner over there. It gave me chills. So do I go there? I really don't want to. Let's go look. Let's investigate. Did that end? Does that mean there's a monster now? Or is it just to mess with us? Who knows? I tell you what, though. Having a limited sprint is not going to be good if we have a monster chase us. Oh. Oh, this looks different. Okay. Oh, weird. Exit. I mean, it can't be that way, right? We just came from there. This is very different. Okay. There's a door. This music copyright? Doesn't matter. Interesting. Look at this. Very artistic. Very demure. Ooh.
This is too weird.
Yeah. This is so weird, man. Definitely weird. Interesting architecture. Lamp on the floor. It's weird. Alright, we got another door. Nice. Oh, we beat the game. Okay, well, that was a lot easier than I expected. Okay. Alrighty then. Pretty funny because in one of the descriptions it says to explore the level as natural as possible, and that's basically what I did, and it worked out really well. So I think I'll go ahead and leave it here, and I'll leave it up to you to explore this demo further and see if there's anything I missed, and you can come back and let me know what's up. So that'd be really cool. Anyways, I think I'll go ahead and review the demo. So I'm going to start with visuals. I think visually the game is okay for the most part. I quite like its art direction, and it's a little less than photorealistic approach. I play a lot of these games that are very photorealistic, and while that works, I think seeing something like this sort of stand off a little bit from that, I think also works really well. And I think the game looks fine. I think the lighting is really well done. The overall level design, from what I experienced, seemed pretty decent. This is more akin to sort of my favorite way of Backrooms games and how they're designed, is that they're expansive, but they have a semi-linear nature about them. You're sort of rewarded a little more for your time of exploring, because then eventually you sort of find a way to go. Some Backrooms games, like Dream Core, especially its official release, can be so ungodly expansive that spend a lot of time just kind of running around doing nothing. And while I think that works in Dream Core's favor, that's the way that game is intentionally designed, it's refreshing to play a Backrooms game that doesn't go so overboard with its level design. And I think the overall design of the level itself, I think works really well. I think my only real issue with the game visually is some of the shadows don't quite look correct. They're a little glitchy looking, if that makes sense. They're not quite formed to the object that's casting the shadow, like the horse statue. When you're walking around it, the shadows is very all over the place. I am playing on medium settings, so the game could look better with higher settings, you know, chosen, if you decide to do that. This game is quite taxing on my computer, and it is said that you'll need quite a rig to play this on the Steam page. I think you need to find a balance, though, when it comes to visual fidelity and overall visual presentation and its performance. So just keep that in mind going forward, especially being an early access game in the future. I don't think the game necessarily looks bad on medium settings, but I'm just saying you need to figure out how much you're going to sacrifice visually if also it's going to be a taxing game on people's computers. So try to strike the balance there, I think, and you'll do just fine with that. Now, onto audio. I think the audio in the game is fairly solid for the most part. I like the music here on the main menu. I think it sets the tone really well, and I quite like it. In-game, I think also there's a fairly well-established atmosphere, and I think it's quite effective. I don't like the footsteps being so redundant, and that's just a personal nitpick of mine. I'm very sensitive to footsteps in games if they're not done in a more, I guess, natural way. So your footsteps just walking are fine, but when you sprint, they seem to just sort of speed up, so they're just more repetitive. So while you have your walking speed sounds, I think your sprinting can be it can be a little bit faster, but I don't think it needs to be so repetitive because it just sounds unnatural when we're sprinting, and that's just me personally. Just wanted to point that out. Aside from that, not much else really stands out in the audio department from what I experienced in this demo. I did like the weird little sound it made when that shadow creature thing was peeking around the corner. It was really nice. It complemented, you know, the strangeness of that, and it made it, you know, really scary. So I think that worked really well. I think complementary sounds like that with weird events, I think will work really well going forward. So that's something to really, you know, keep trying and keep doing. Yeah, aside from that, I would say audio is fine overall. In terms of mechanics, not much else going on in this game in terms of mechanics, other than the fact that I believe with Backrooms games, exploring and walking around and investigating and experiencing the game and its overall design is a mechanic in itself. There are games that are very walk until something happens, but the whole idea of the Backrooms is that you are trapped in a place that you must explore to escape, in some manner of speaking. So I think this works really well in the game's favor, the way the level is semi-linear, so you can look around as much as you'd like, but eventually you'll find your way out. And I think that rewards the player's time while also allowing them to get the full experience of the level if they'd like to. Or other people who, like myself, just so happen to want to continue forward and they find doors and they just keep going and they complete the game. So I think there's a nice balance there of exploration, but also progression. So in terms of that, I would say mechanically the game is pretty solid. I'm not sure what they have planned in terms of overall events or monsters or anything like that going forward in the future. I think in the way it's designed now is actually quite strong in my personal opinion. I wouldn't go too hard on the monsters or necessarily being chased, unless you want to do that. Obviously going forward, that's your design philosophy. I respect it. But I actually quite think things like the peeking around the corner is really effective because to me, it plants the idea that, well, is that thing going to chase me? Where is it? Is it going to come out and get me? But the fact that it never does is also just as effective. Hiding the monster makes it scarier over time. It's just a rule in horror. Like, the less you show a monster, the more scary it is. The idea itself becomes scary more than just the overall interaction with it or encounter with it. With all that being said, I would say mechanics is also pretty well done. Story and concept. The story is kind of strange. The idea that we went on a heist so that way we could eat during COVID-19, and I know that was a really terrible time for a lot of people. I think it's an interesting setting, is all I'm saying, to then just, I'm in the Backrooms now. So you could literally have any scenario happen, and then it become a Backrooms game. You could be like a pilot going to the airport, just like go to the bathroom before you get on the plane or something, and then you fall into the Backrooms. So it could literally be, you could be like a hunter in the woods or something, hunting a deer and you fall in the back room. So I think it's an interesting choice, and you know, I think it's totally fine. So other than that, there's not much story. It's just we need to escape. But the overall concept, I think, is really interesting and also fascinating because I enjoy Backrooms games, and I really enjoy seeing everyone's different perspectives and overall approach to games like this. It's very interesting to explore their creative process with the concept of liminal spaces. So, really cool stuff overall with that. In terms of performance, I'm kind of mixed on performance. It is quite taxing of a game, you know, having my computer fans and everything go cranked up so high, even on medium settings, and a frame cap at 60. So really strange stuff. I'm not really sure if they are able to better optimize this game, maybe use less taxing assets. I'm not really sure what it is that is so taxing, and especially such a small demo, but obviously shadows and volumetric fog and you know, all those kind of things can really add up. I'm very aware of that, but at the same time, I think it's a good idea to really try to fine-tune your performance. Like, I don't think you should necessarily have the game punish people for playing on medium settings or even low settings. The game was functional, everything worked really well. I didn't really have any issues with it. There's no like stuttering or anything like that, but I think going forward, I would feel a little bit more comfortable with a game like this if it was just a little less taxing on my computer. At least for me, I try to be really careful about running my fans and stuff, and, you know, overheating my CPU and stuff. So anyways, I don't want to go on too long with that, but I'd really try to fine-tune performance going forward. That's just my personal opinion on that. So with all that being said, my final judgment for Backrooms Exploration demo, so I would say it's okay. I had a good time with it. I think it has a lot going for it. I think going forward, you should fine-tune your performance, but overall, the visual department and the audio and the mechanics of the game, I think, meshed together really well, and it was, you know, a really good experience. But I think there's a lot of potential to be had here, and it's really hard to see what this game could do different or add to the liminal space genre. But I think it has a lot going for it either way, and I hope going forward in your early access phase that everything comes together really well and it all works out for you. So best of luck to you on your future endeavors. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you have anything to add? Do you just want to say hi? Just let me know what's up. I'd appreciate it. And don't forget to check the pinned comment below for the links to everything. Go play this game for yourself. Form your own opinion. I'm sure the developer would appreciate your feedback as well as mine. And if you enjoy my content, want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe and leave a like and share the video too. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I think that's all I have to say about it. So thanks for hanging out with me. And don't forget, the pale moth is always watching.